Hey everybody, Adam Carroll here with Chad Carden of Renzo. And we are the founders of Renzo, which is a culture consultancy company. We believe that organizations must intentionally build a culture that people love to come to work to. And so today what we're going to talk about a little bit is the Aligned Leader Program. We do a lot of webinars. We do a lot of free or non-fee training that we put out there. And our goal is to help create development opportunities for your people. We do that on a regular basis. This particular program we want to talk about, called the Aligned Leader Program, is actually a little bit more in depth, and it's meant to help sharpen the skills of leaders that you currently have in your organization. So Chad, let's just give everyone kind of a high level of the Aligned Leader Program. In your words, how would you describe it?
Yeah, listen, I'm super excited about this. As you well know, I think that it drives major benefit for people who are in the program, people who have experienced, our programs before. I think the three main things that people get out of it is, number one, is it helps create a better framework for building a better team. I think that's one of the keys. I think the other thing is it's really results focused. As a leader, we're all responsible for results. And so it really helps create a game plan that allows the leaders that go through the program to really drive even better results. And I think the third thing, there's a lot, but I think the third thing, which is probably even what I hear the most, candidly, is that the people who go through this program, the leaders that go through this program, is that it creates a better you or a better them, right? And so when they walk away, they are centered and they have clarity. And, as we talk about, clarity creates mastery. And so they have this clarity on how they can be a better leader, how they can create better team dynamics, how they can create better results, which leads to the benefits of being a leader within their organization. I think those are a lot of the things that people find the benefit from. And I think the other thing is it's a shared experience, yet it's personalized, right? We allow each leader that goes through the program to obviously share a common experience with the leaders that they're going through it with. However, personalize it down to practicality that really benefits them. And so it's not this theory pie in the sky BS stuff. It's more, we can implement this stuff immediately to see the outcomes and see successes and build from those successes as they move forward. I think that's it in a nutshell.
That's very well said. Anyone who's gone through any kind of development session that's powered by the Renzo experience knows that what we do differently than everyone else. And that boils down to how our facilitators engage with the audience, how we do breakout sessions, how we essentially take what was talked about in those breakout sessions and then assimilate all that information within the larger group. So we have talked about this at length, Chad, that development is not a one-time deal, right? You can't do a one-off training and expect that change is going to happen. And one of the things that we really want to do in the Aligned Leader Program is create change and build leaders who build great cultures within organizations. So to that end, we are structuring this in 6 sessions. And what I'd love for you to do is talk about why 6 sessions.
Well, you and I have spent a lot of time on this, and it just didn't come out of thin air. We believe that, like you mentioned, a time-based approach is the most effective way to truly build the right skills for the aligned leader. And probably more importantly, before we help them build the right skills, we have to help them unwind or break the wrong skills, right? And so we look at how many sessions that looks like, what's the time that it looks like, and then it is those 6 sessions over on average. And we've played around with this for the past 10 years. You know this, right? Like 1 session a month, 1 session a week. What we found to be the right formula is 1 session every other week that has a lot of substance to it, that allows the leaders to go back and put things into practice immediately in between sessions, that when we come back, it's just a didactic process. We build from session to session to session. And at the end, we put the entire thing together, put a bow on it, that really helps somebody create a different opportunity and approach as they move forward. So those 6 sessions, as we break it down, and it's also palatable. It's also something that I can absorb as a leader versus way too much that feels like something else. Nobody needs anything else on their plate these days. Everybody has enough things to do. And so those 6 sessions also allow us to help the leaders really marry these things into what they do on a daily basis versus feeling like they're forced. And so it becomes an organic process. And so those six steps, and then obviously we end it on that sixth session with, the wrap up and the follow up, and make sure that, as we talked about before, success builds upon success as we drive it home. So we played around with, 9 sessions over 9 months. You and I have done this for years.
No doubt.
We've just found that those 6 sessions really allow it to be absorbable, put into play, and build those right habits.
Absolutely. Yeah, we believe in 10 to 12 weeks, given constant reinforcement, the ability to practice, given some feedback by coaches in the moment. All of those are great practices when you're trying to develop skills in your leaders. And these could be frontline leaders. These could be senior level C-suite type executives. Essentially, the Aligned Leader program is great for someone that wants to smooth out any of the rough edges in their leadership. And as an example, if you've got silos within your organization, if you've got workplace bullies that you're having a hard time confront, if you have a hard time having productive conflict, we talked about the difference between tension and conflict. And tension is actually somewhat toxic in an organization because tension just builds and mounts until it spills over. Whereas productive conflict is the ability to come in and have a conversation with someone on your team and resolve whatever the issue is peacefully and amicably with a level of understanding that you can both walk away and go, I understand what they were saying. And now we don't have that conflict or that tension anymore. So we're going to share all of those things and then some. Chad, why don't you talk about a couple of the takeaways you're excited about that people will leave the program with?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the sessions, again, they're built with intention, right? They're built to again, be didactic and really grow from session to session. I think the key thing is I think one of the benefits that we've heard over the years is that we really began the program with creating a very strong foundation around the model, right? Mm-hmm. The model aligned leader. And so people really understand what is the perfect model? What does it look like? And we really begin to assess, where do I start? Where am I on this scale? Now, the model's a perfect 10 in all these areas, but it allows me to get real with myself, to get authentic with myself, and really figure out what are some things that I'm already doing well that I want to continue doing, and then what are some of those areas of growth and those areas of opportunity. So I think that, starting off with that model is crucial to allowing them to have a game plan from the very beginning on, and having clarity on where I need to continuously sharpen and what are some of those areas that I need to close the gaps on. I think that's key. Communication is a huge, huge piece of this. Mm-hmm. So really the next building block from there is understanding different styles. And I think the key word here is helping people create awareness. I think that awareness is 75% of the game when working with other people. Yeah. And so, we teach people, using, partnering with Traycom, we teach people on the different social styles, how some people are very tell-oriented people or like to hold the microphone, and some people are more ask-oriented people. And so if you want to involve them in conversations, you have to actually give them the microphone. Some people are more controlled, right? More task and fact-driven, and some people are more emote or people-driven. And so the first dynamic there is understanding where we land. Where do I land as a leader? And really being aware of that. Because if we're not aware of it, what the research shows, and this, is that 75% of the people we come in contact with, candidly, don't handle stress like we handle stress.
Right.
Don't make decisions like we make decisions. Don't work with others. Don't hold meetings like we hold meetings. And if we don't know those dynamics, not intentionally, but we could be building gaps in relationships versus building bridges. And so that's one that is another anchor point in the series of helping people understand those styles and how to leverage those styles to build stronger relationships, which comes down to trust, respect, and rapport. I think another piece is the whole CAP piece, right? The whole clarity, alignment, and purpose. We're big on clarity, obviously. How do you create clarity with your team, yourself, your boss, your organization around really 2 things: direction, right? What are the goals? Where is the bus going? We're going to ask that question a lot, defining that. And then expectations. We believe that expectations are key. And how do you communicate those expectations in a way that gets cemented, that create the next one, which is the alignment? And so how do you create alignment? And so everybody's, Adam, we've been doing this for over 20 years together. We walk into organizations, and what we feel like is that most people work hard. And most people come to work and want to do what their boss wants them to do or what their supervisor
Yeah.
wants them to do.
Or what they think they want them to do, right?
Or what they think. Yeah. And I think without that clarity, there's a lot of different expectations. You and I battle that every day, and we've been working together for 20 years. So it's about that communication, and how do we get everybody on the same side of the bus pushing versus people on all four sides? Because we're all working hard, but we're not going anywhere if we're all on four sides pushing in a different direction. And then purpose. We always talk about that everybody on the team has purpose and value. The problem is most people don't understand the value that they bring. So how do you bring awareness to that where people see their role as opportunity on a daily basis, meaning they get to, versus obligation they have to? Those are some of the keys. And then you mentioned conflict, obviously. So, listen, I could talk for hours on this stuff, but those are some of the keys that I believe are crucial to the aligned leader and helping people, again, set themselves up for a higher probability of success after the program.
So when you hit the nail on the head when you talk about a game plan. I think what a lot of people are looking for in sharpening their leadership skills are things like scripts and models to follow and bullet pointed ideas of how the conversation is going to flow. And those are all just some of the things that you're going to get in your toolbox through the Aligned Leader program. Ideas like what Chad just mentioned, handling conflict. Not a lot of people like to have difficult conversations, yet difficult conversations are things that need to be had on a regular basis in business, whether it's with your clients or with your employees or even at home with family members. This content will definitely help you figure out how to have difficult conversations in a way that are well thought out, they're intentional, they're planned, they're very clear. You are all in alignment at the end of it. There is purpose behind it. Really what we're doing in the Aligned Leader program is helping people understand how to communicate effectively with others so that they all know what's expected, where they're going, that we're all in alignment together. And it is a magical, magical thing. I believe it was Patrick Lencioni that said it in the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, that if you could get everyone rowing in the same direction at the same time, you could dominate any business in any industry, in any environment at any time. And so that's what we want to help you do through the Aligned Leader program, is get your leaders capable and understanding of how to create clarity and alignment and purpose within their teams. So here's what we need you to know about the program. We have limited space on the first and second go-rounds of this program. So registration begins soon. We have limited space available for people to go through, and there's a very specific reason why. We have found not only in the number of sessions, but the number of people in the sessions. And Chad, will you speak to the number of just the interaction and the personal experience that they're going to get through the Aligned Leader program?
Yeah, I think it's important to realize that this is not a lecture program. This is a facilitated program, which means we're all in this thing together. It's a shared experience. And so to have a shared experience, you can't have 150 people in the room, either live or virtually. And so we cap the number at a certain number of people so they can experience each other. We always say a lot of times the experts are in the room, right? We just have to facilitate those discussions, and we have to bring those topics out where they can really learn from each other. We're certainly going to be a guide, and we're going to coach them throughout the program, but how do they leverage each other, learn from each other, and create common experiences where they're really tapping into everybody else in the program? That's the beauty of this. Plus, also the beauty of it is if you're a participant, you have a chance to add value to every other participant. And so we do that through a dynamic process, not a static process, a dynamic process. We're constantly having you work with others to create and tap into that brain trust of the audience, not just the person that's facilitating it from Renzo. That's the key thing. And another thing is that through the ability to do that, like we talked about, so you have that shared experience where you're going through it with other leaders, but then how do you personalize it? So you were talking about, creating and walking through the framework of the difficult conversation. Well, we found that most people that experience our program all have a specific person in mind, all have a specific situation in mind. And so we just take the framework and we overlay it on that specific situation so they can literally walk out of that session and go have that difficult conversation with a much higher level of confidence and a much higher level of probability for success when that's over. Half the battle again is just having the conversation. So how do you set up to have the conversation, drive the conversation home? And so if we have, if we have 30 people in the program, which we think is a really, really good number, 30 people could walk away with their own individualized next step with how to resolve conflict that has probably been there because I've swept it under the rug, or I've just, sort of lived with it. How do I resolve it, move past it to create, again, that better dynamic within the team? Those are the keys. And so that's really the DNA and the makeup of the program and the sessions that allow you to experience it with everybody else versus just feeling like you're being lectured to.
So let's transition to how people get registered. This is something that's available to individuals, and we encourage individuals within organizations that are holding leadership roles to apply and register for the program. We have a downloadable form that actually tells a little bit more about the program, the takeaways, the structure, the investment that you can download, print out, and take to your HR department or your leadership team and get funding for the program itself. We believe that the investment for this program is very nominal as it relates to the ROI that you're going to get on the back end. Chad and I both have gone through numerous development programs where we've spent thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars sitting through classes for multiple days, and trying to cram all this stuff in our brain. And I like to joke that what you get after those very expensive trainings in person is shelf esteem. You get a binder, you put it on your shelf, it feels good. I went through that program one time, but it's not tangible and actionable. So the Aligned Leader program is both of those. It's tangible, it's actionable, it's relatively affordable for most organizations that want to develop and hone their leaders' skills. And here's the kicker, we do have a limited amount of space. So we're offering an early bird rate for anyone who gets signed up. All of the information is on the website. It is at renzoexperience.com/aligned leader. So renzoexperience.com/aligned leader to get all the information that you need on the program itself. We also have some bulk pricing available if an organization says, I'd like to send 5 or 10 people through at the same time. So know that that is a possibility as well. But we highly encourage individuals who are interested in their own development as leaders to apply, get registered today, and sign up for the next class that begins shortly.
I think that's the beauty of this thing, is that literally if I am a new leader, it's perfect. If I'm a leader that has experienced things through my organization or through other avenues, this will only enhance. I mean, this is a no-lose situation. It can help sharpen the saw and make you even more effective. Or if you just kind of feel like you talk about sort of the, Adam, you talk about the pit of complacency. If I just feel like I've plateaued as a leader, these programs are so effective that, again, it can only enhance what it is you've already experienced, or it has the tools for a brand new leader that can really help them jumpstart in their leadership, position, if you will. So I encourage everybody to sign up. I encourage you. And again, we'll have multiple programs and we'll continuously offer this, but the 2 that we have coming up, it is limited. And so I encourage you to get in now to reserve your seat.
The program begins July 15th, everyone. We do have some early bird special pricing on registrations. It is all available at renzoexperience.com/aligned leader. Again, this is a virtual program. It's 6 sessions, highly impactful, highly interactive. You will walk away with a ton of tools and resources you didn't have at your disposal before. And it's trained by the best in the industry. Our facilitators, they are literally brought up to create the Renzo experience. I mean, we have, I dare say we've trademarked the way that we deliver consulting and development sessions. And whether it's virtual or it's in person, it is a very dynamic experience. You'll love it. It's like nothing you've ever gone through before. So check out renzoexperience.com/aligned leader. And if you have any questions at all, you can always send an email to info@renzoexperience.com. Parting words, Chad.
I'm just looking forward to seeing people on the other side. Looking forward to continuously adding value and impact to leaders and organizations that, create better environments that people love to come to.
Likewise. We'll see you inside the program.